big thank you for everyone who showed up today for the webinar. We always get a lot of questions from new resellers and people who've just recently downloaded the app about how to have the best Fleek experience. How can you find the best suppliers? How does the homepage work? And all of these questions. So we really wanted to start the series and take you through it. Here's who you'll be hearing from today. I'm Wei, I'm the Senior Growth Manager here at Fleek, and joining me is Lissy, our Senior Marketing Lead, but also on the call and ready to answer any questions that you might have. We have a couple people from our customer support team, Amr and Asan, and we'll have Jordan and Alex who are joining us from account management, Michelle, who's joining us from product, and Jasmine, who's also joining us from marketing. So with this well-rounded crew, we are well prepared to answer any questions you might have. And just a little list of everything we'll cover today. We're going to walk you guys through our homepage, the different ways to shop on Fleek, how as a new reseller you can understand a listing, how to get the best price on Fleek, and what you can expect after you place your first order.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off with the homepage, which is kind of your main starting point when downloading the Fleek app. So the homepage itself is designed to point you in the right direction. The homepage is the main screen when you create your account and you download your app. It's the first thing that you see. There's lots of photos, lots going on, and I think a lot of new users can find it a bit overwhelming to understand kind of how to navigate this homepage. So we wanted to take you through kind of the three key things that you're going to see on this homepage. So the first one being the main banner. I don't know if this will disappear, but hopefully it does. With this main banner here, you'll see this one's called Trending for Spring. These are our hero collections that the Fleek team curates. And this is basically top stock, top things that we're wanting to market to all of our users, whether you're new or returning. And basically, these are things that we want all eyeballs on because it's either an exclusive drop that we have, might be a sale going on, like right now. We have a site-wide sale up to 70% off. Or you might see these top collections underneath. So the top collections, these are things that are trending. They might be new stock drops as well. Or compiling kind of the best price for you to be able to shop, whether that be a brand or category or something seasonal like we have here, festival flips, because festival season is in full swing. We want to make sure all resellers are stocked and ready with the best stock at the best price. Other than that, we have our top brands and categories that you can see underneath here. So you'll see Ralph Lauren, Vintage Flips. These are basically collections that compile the top selling brands and categories across Fleek. So it's basically a way for you to wayfind very easily through the app. If you are wondering what to purchase, the collections are collections of bundles, which are the listings, which we will go through shortly.
Amazing. And then we can jump straight into the two ways that you can shop on Fleek, namely bundles and pieces. So because we've introduced quite a lot of products and features recently, there has been some confusion around what are bundles and what are pieces, and we can really get into that. So bundles is basically a box of stock that a supplier has already curated, often sold as one unit. This, as an example here, is very nicely a collection of bundles that you can find in our collection of all the things that are currently on sale. If you didn't know, at the moment, Fleek is having a site-wide sale of everything up to 75% off, so go check it out. The price that you see listed on the bundles covers everything, shipping included, and bundles are usually curated by, grouped by brand or category, or grade or size, etc. Bundles are really, really nice for when you don't have the time to be handpicking each and every single item, because these are, stock and inventory that has already been pre-curated for you. Now, when you look at pieces, what it means is kind of in the name, right? It's a specific item individually photographed. Each and every piece is its own listing. And what you see is what you get. So anything that's in the photo is exactly the item that you'll receive in the mail. When you shop pieces, you have the ability to be super controlled about what you're buying. You can build your own custom bundle, but there is a limited, a minimum order quantity of 10 pieces when you're shopping by piece. Now, just a little bit more detail into how each of these things work. Again, with bundles, the way that you can find them is by clicking into any of the collections that you might be able to find on our homepage. So for example, these are all the bundles that are currently in our sale collection, but you could equally also find bundles that are in Vinted Flips or Ralph Lauren or the festival stock that Lizzie mentioned earlier. Once you're in these collections and you're viewing everything in terms of bundles, you'll be able to filter by brand, by category, by grade, by size, by price, and more things as well. Well, when you're looking at bundles, obviously there are a couple of things to look out for, one of them being the bundle type. When you're shopping by bundles, bundle types can either be exact bundles or representative bundles. And Lacey will go through this in more detail because it's a question that we get a lot when it comes to exact versus representative. But one important thing to note about bundles is when people hear about Fleek and the fact that we are a vintage wholesale app, people can get a little scared, especially if you're new to reselling. You might not be ready to commit to a bigger bundle of say 20 or 50 or even 100 pieces. There's no worry at all. Bundles on Fleek actually start from as little as 5 pieces, sometimes 10 pieces. So you can really start small on Fleek. And then once you've tested something and try it out as a supplier, then you can commit to a larger order as well. Now, when you're shopping by the piece, as I mentioned before, each piece is photographed individually and they are exactly what you see in the picture. Once you're in a piece listing, you'll be able to see the condition, the grade, the size, and the brand of the piece. Now, when you're shopping by pieces, you'll be able to mix different pieces from different suppliers within one order. So you'll be able to order one from Creed Vintage, who's our supplier, or you'll be able to order 1 or 2 from Diamond Vintage as well. More than that though, you'll be able to also buy different types of pieces. So in a single order, I would be able to get a cami top, a denim skirt, a boot cut jean, a bag, and I could get a single piece of each and every single category. Of course, when you're shopping by the piece, you'll have to remember that there is a minimum order of 10 pieces. But yeah, that is bundles and pieces. There are obviously other ways that you'll be able to discover stock on Fleek. Namely, once you're in the app, you'll be able to search for anything you want using our very handy search bar. Search for a brand, a style, or a keyword, and you'll get some options to choose from. Obviously, you can select collections that are available on our homepage. You can also look at specific supplier pages. So if you're in the app, just click on the supplier tab. You'll be able to follow the suppliers that you love. You'll be able to look at supplier ratings, reviews of those suppliers, and the number of repeat buyers they have. This is a top tip from our team at Fleek. If you are ever worried or concerned or overwhelmed by the number of suppliers that we have on the platform, because we have a lot. We have over 1,000 suppliers. Always look at these 3 things: the supplier ratings, the reviews, and the number of repeat buyers. These are the 3 top things, the golden ticket to be able to identify a quality supplier on our platform. And lastly, if you can't find a particular style or piece or bundle on Fleek through the collections or through any of these options, try video handpicks. So you'll be able to schedule a call with any supplier on the app. You can send them what style you're looking for, a brand you're looking for, colors, sizes, anything you want with as much detail as possible. And what these suppliers will do is they'll curate pieces that match your desired quality in terms of your mood board. And then you can get on a live call with them and look at every single piece and choose whether you want to go forward with that piece or reject that piece, and so on and so forth.
So next up, reading a listing like a pro so we can help you buy with confidence. So Wei already alluded to the fact that I'm going to get into exact versus representative, but I would say these are the 2 things that new buyers always ask us is, what does grade mean and what does exact versus representative mean? I think if you are somebody new to reselling, or maybe you're new to sourcing in bulk or wholesale, these are words that are commonly used within this space, but you won't be seeing these things at a thrift store or at the bins or at a garage sale. So these are new terms when you come onto our app if you've never purchased wholesale before. The first being grades. So we have grade A, B, and C, which you will see on kind of every listing on Fleek. The way to kind of determine these, this is the quality of the pieces that you are going to be receiving, whether that be in a pre-curated bundle or when you're shopping by the piece. So every listing will include the grade. Grade A are items that look nearly new. Obviously, everything on Fleek is secondhand, but these items are going to look almost like new with possibly only a few tiny, easily washable stains, but hardly anything wrong with the item. Grade B would be moderate wear and might have some small stains or holes, maybe a broken zipper. Grade C being items that are visibly worn and may have some larger stains or tears, but are still wearable. I would say majority of the listings and the products that you will see on Fleek are going to be grade A, B. Anything grade C, we typically would work with those pieces more for our upcycling department and taking kind of these unwanted items and turning them into new pieces. So majority of what you will see is grade A, B. If you do see grade C, the price will be definitely significantly lower. But I would say that this is a nice way to be able to, again, shop with confidence, is knowing if you're purchasing grade A or B, you know that the quality and the standard of those items will be what you expect. Exact versus representative. So this is something that you will see in the listing itself. In the description, you'll see either an exact or a representative bundle. So exact means the photos and the video shown in the listing, this is exactly the stock you are going to receive. The price point sometimes is a little bit higher on these bundles, just because that supplier is saving that stock specifically for somebody who is going to buy that pre-curated bundle. A lot of the time they're very well curated, whether that be the brand, style, or category that they're setting aside. And then majority of the stock that you will see in listings in these pre-curated bundles is actually representative. So representative is a representation of what you will be receiving. So the photos and videos will show similar items that you can expect in the bundle, but it's not going to be the exact pieces you'll receive. So if you take a bundle like Ralph Lauren button-down shirts, for example, you're going to see an example video of the size range, the grade, and the quality of those pieces, but you're not going to be receiving those exact pieces, but you know you can anticipate the grade, the price, the quality, and the number and the sizing in that listing. So these are really good to new terminology for a new reseller to kind of get used to on Fleek. Let's hope this video plays for us. Oh, amazing. So if you do have the app in front of you, click into a listing, you'll be able to see all of these things that I've been talking through. The first thing when you click into a listing that you see is obviously the photo and the video. If you swipe to the right, you'll be able to see the video of that exact or representative listing. You'll then see the supplier name. You can always click straight into that supplier, get to know them a little bit more, see their rating, or if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the rating like you can see in the video screen here. This one has 5-star rating, so I would have full confidence with the reviews that you can see and the rating that they have, that you can source from them with full confidence. After the supplier name, you'll see the title. This should include a style, brand, or category, similar to any reselling platform that you probably sell on or are going to be selling on. This is the way for you to discover the listings that you're going to be buying. Pricing and number of pieces is next. So you will see a price per piece is what we call it, and the number of pieces. So a bundle like this, when it goes back to the top, I'll be able to call out how much it costs. I think it was about £5 per piece. I could be wrong though. But this one is $5.72. So it's $5.72 per piece. This price includes shipping. And you'll be able to see the total number of pieces is 30 pieces. But you can also, the more you buy, the better pricing that you will get. So we call this volumetric pricing, which way we'll get into in the next section. Exact versus representative and grade, I've already been through that. And then the last feature, which you can see at the bottom of the listing screen here, is the make an offer feature. So again, similar to other reselling platforms that you might be familiar with, this is a social marketplace, so you can make an offer with the supplier, negotiate those prices, or if you are sold and you want to buy this right away, you can click add to cart and then check out.
Lovely. So talking about how to get the best prices and making offer and chatting directly with suppliers, here are all the levers that you can pull to make sure that you get the best price on Fleek. So Lissy's already mentioned that you can negotiate directly with suppliers. Please note that the listing price is oftentimes not the final price. You have options to be able to negotiate that down. So as Lissy mentioned, you can open a chat with a supplier, or you can hit that handy make an offer button and make an offer on that listing. Treat this the same way that you would treat Vinted. For example, if you're in Vinted, you're always negotiating with the seller to price it down a little bit. We always suggest that you try making an offer 5 to 15% less than the listed price. You'll be surprised at how often our suppliers are actually super responsive to make an offer. And they're always willing to kind of discuss different ways that you can get discounts, either through volumetric pricing or essentially by even chatting with suppliers. You're building a relationship with them. And the better of a relationship you have, the longer that relationship is, the better offers you're going to be able to get on Fleek. And by chatting with a supplier as well, you can always ask for more photos, more videos, what sizes they have, anything you want. It's really all encompassing. As Issy mentioned, we are a social marketplace. So these chats, they exist for a reason. Please make use of it. Talk with our suppliers, see what they have to offer, and that's how you can negotiate with them for a better price. Now, some of the fine print on the pricing on Fleek. On Fleek, we do charge a small buyer fee. You'll see this on orders that are under £200. It is a flat £2 rate at checkout for processing the order. You'll see that in the final price reflected before you pay. So there's no extra payment on top of what you're paying. What you see is what you'll get. We do have a buyer protection fee, very similar to Vinted, just to make sure that you have the best buyer protection on every order. The charge is 2% of your order, capped at £20. So you'll never have a buyer protection fee that goes over £20, no matter how large your order is. And coming to our most asked question, what's the cost of shipping? Well, the shipping costs are included in our listing price. So all of our listed prices on bundles or pieces include shipping fees. Obviously, there are some custom and tariff fees that may apply for the folks who are joining us from the US. That will be told to you once your order arrives in the US.
All right, so what to expect after you have placed your order. All right, so this is a nice little breakdown of kind of the journey of your little bundle or your big bundle that you order on Fleek. So shipping from placing the order to receiving your order takes about 21 to 28 days from order to your door. So the first step is obviously placing that order. We call that day 0. You have placed that order, payment has successfully gone through. Days 1 to 4, that's where the supplier will start preparing your order, make sure that everything that should be in there is in that bundle and packaged up, ready to go. That package then goes to our Fleek Quality Control Center. This is about day 5 to day 8. They're processing all of the orders coming through from our different suppliers' warehouses, making sure that what you're receiving matches what you purchased on Fleek with the description, again, with the grade, the descriptions, the pricing, the number of pieces, the sizing. If anything does go wrong, things can get flagged in the Quality Control Center, and that will be communicated directly to you. So if something maybe wasn't to standard or a piece is missing, that will be communicated directly from our customer support team. Once it goes through our Quality Control Center, days 9 to 28, depending on where you are based and where your parcel is coming from, that is for shipment and delivery. So you can expect that again from that date of placing your order until the date it's delivered. It'll take about 21 to 28 days. My example to the right was a lot quicker than that. But this is obviously some things go quicker, some things might be delayed, but that will always be communicated with you. Awesome. So if your order is canceled or maybe it's not as described, these are some things that can come up and be a bit concerning, especially if it is your first order. So sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's where your Fleek buyer protection has you covered. So you can receive a refund from the Fleek team for various things such as canceled orders. So obviously, if your order is canceled from the supplier or maybe even from the quality control center, that order will be canceled and refunded to you directly. Items that you did not receive, or maybe they were missing from your order. So let's say your order should have had 10 pieces and you only received 8. That is obviously something that you can request a refund for. Items that you receive that were not as described. So items that maybe don't fit the grade, or maybe you were purchasing a specific brand and it wasn't the brand that you were expecting. These are the kinds of things that you can also request a refund for. And then obviously authenticity concerns as well. So to claim these and request the refund, you can contact our customer support team, whether that's through the Fleek app or at support@joinfleek.com. We recommend, if you do receive your order and something is wrong with the order, try to contact us as soon as possible within that first 5 days of receiving your order, so that the team can help escalate things and resolve for you as quickly as possible.
I'm seeing one question about knowing that the suppliers can be from many different countries. How can you know before you order where it will be shipped from so you can avoid extra taxes and duties? When you are checking for where the supplier is based, you can always find it from the supplier page. In their profile, you'll be able to see where they are based, whether they are from India or Pakistan or the US or Europe. Everything is on their supplier page. Obviously, when it comes to shipping and customs and taxes, if you are based in the UK, our customs and duties are covered. If you're shipping from Pakistan or India, suppliers who are based in other regions might incur customs. And then if you're in the EU, similar kind of story. If you're in the US, standard duties are included, but obviously US tariffs may apply and your courier will contact you directly. If there's ever a concern about customs, VAT, tariffs, and duty charges, please feel free to message our customer support team in the app. They are very responsive and more than happy to answer any of your questions around this. Brilliant. Michelle is asking if there are any suppliers from the USA that would change the shipping, as in no tariffs. We do have a couple of suppliers in the USA.
So I think for this question, and there's a question above, where can we find our favorite suppliers? I'm not sure if you already have favorites or if you're more asking where can you discover more. In the Fleek app, there is a supplier tab right in the middle. So if you go to the supplier tab there, you'll be able to scroll through and see all of the suppliers on Fleek, and also be able to search by region that they're in. So if you did want to find those US-based suppliers, you'd be able to find them directly in the supplier tab there. So if tariffs are ridiculously high, do we have the option to cancel the order? Oh, great. Okay, we have a couple questions coming in. Amar is on the call. He's our head of customer support. Maybe, Amar, could you take the question about cancellations if they receive a tariff, unexpectedly high tariff fee?
Sure, thank you. I think for the US, the policy is pretty simple. The standard duties are definitely included. We expect the tariffs to be somewhere around like 10% of your total order value. If in case that tariff that is being charged to you exceeds 10%, at times you can raise a ticket with the support team and they'll look into it and see how can that be reduced and what portion of that can Fleek also can support you and reimburse you right away. If any given circumstances, once the order is QC approved and is on freight and is on the route to you, either within the US territory or getting delivered to you very soon, the option of cancel does not exist for the buyers anymore. But usually that is a very rare situation that we come across. Buyers are usually able to pay the tariffs, and if somehow the tariffs are unusually high, then we work with our 3PL partner to get it reduced, and then we share some of the costs with us as well.
Amazing, thank you.
All right, we have a question for the account management team.
Yes, AM has a question. about containers. How can our buyers buy this way?
Yeah, so I mean, the containers, there's usually a minimum quantity, which is fairly high, obviously, because they're pretty large, and it obviously saves a huge amount on shipping costs as well. So for like larger customers, like retailers or kind of big wholesalers, we find that that's worked really well for them. In terms of the kind of mechanics of ordering a container, it probably makes most sense to get in touch with Fleek so you can work with an account manager. I know Jordan does a lot on containers, so we can probably do some more context on this. But yeah, we essentially can act as a liaison between your needs and the supplier and make sure everything's kind of organized so that the container is packed properly, and work closely with the suppliers and our supply team to ensure that the container's kind of packed and graded to what you prefer. But yeah, Jordan, you probably have more info on that.
I think you covered most of it. Just to reiterate, we can handle the end-to-end logistics. So everything from the order being placed up until the container being cleared and delivered. I guess if you were interested in buying that way and you were buying the sorts of volumes that would warrant container shipping, then maybe reach out to us once we follow up with an email and we can put you in touch with one of our account managers and get that set up for you.
Do you want to explain what a container is?
I guess because so a container is just a way of shipping goods. It's something that gets generally loaded onto the sea. So rather than using air freight, we'd use sea freight. And what that does is it allows for cheaper shipping. However, you need to be able to buy a minimum volume to ship a container. So typically people who are buying containers would be buying at least 7,000 or 8,000 pieces in an order for it to be cost effective. And that would get loaded onto a ship, shipped by sea. That usually takes about 45 to 60 days from port to port. And then the container would be delivered to your door, unloaded, and you'd have a very large amount of stock coming out of that. So yeah.
Thanks. And we've got a question specifically for Michelle here. Are you planning to add the favorite sellers category in the future?
Yeah, thanks for asking. We definitely will. This has been something that's been highly requested by a lot of our buyers. So just be on the lookout. It'll be coming to a Fleek app near you soon.
I think we've covered most of the questions in the chat. There were a couple more questions that people had put in before this webinar, just around minimum order quantities, just so that we don't confuse people around the Fleek minimum order and a minimum order for containers. Obviously, if you are a larger buyer and buying a full container load worth of stock, there is going to be a minimum for that. But if you are new to reselling and you're just getting started, bundles on Fleek start from as little as 5 pieces. And if you are buying per piece to build your own bundle, that is a minimum order of 10. So very, very oftentimes, if you're a new reseller, you are able to start small, test out suppliers, test out categories to find out what sells for you before committing to a larger order. And I think the final question that we had was, where's my referral code?
How do I find it? So your referral code, everyone who downloads the app has access to a referral code. This is a really great way if you have an awesome experience sourcing on Fleek and you want to share it with your other friends who are also resellers. You can find this in the Fleek app under the account tab. You'll see earn unlimited discounts. And then when you click into that, you will see your custom referral code. Just copy that and share it away with your friends. This will give your audience and your friends 25 pounds off of their first order. And when they place that order, you will receive 25 pounds credit in return. If you're based in the US, which I think a few of you are, that will be obviously converted into USD. So it's a nice way to earn some extra credit to then stock up on your next order.
Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We hope this has helped you understand a little bit more about how to use the Fleek app, how to navigate it, how to place your first order. And we hope to see you guys as new customers very, very soon.